Alfredo's ASMR, and so today I got some pasta and some steak. So, and also I got a little burrito. So what I'll be talking about, just some movies, some horror movies I've seen recently. Have I talked about horror in a minute? I guess my last video, I talked about it a little bit. A couple of those were just thrillers. And one of the videos was Sonic the Hedgehog, so one of the movies in my review in my last review. But what I want to talk about, at least going forward in this video, is some horror films that I've enjoyed, or that I've really enjoyed, that I've recently watched. And the reason I have the half of a burrito, my dad brings on me, he's like, oh, let's try this. He sees me cooking in the kitchen, he's like, oh, he's a little hungry, so he's gonna try it. So then he split a burrito with me. We tried doing it in the air fryer because that's just what we like doing, but using air fryer. But I planned on just putting it in the oven because it didn't have air fryer instructions. But it actually tastes pretty okay. It's just a standard bean burrito. So, also, if you haven't seen any of my steak videos, oh, it cooked all the way through, almost. But I like my steak with some pink in them. This is about still what I like, though. Medium. I like medium, mid-rare, somewhere in there. And it's just ribeye steak. Also, this is a towel. It's light outside. I normally try and film during the dark. You can actually see it in my background a little bit, I guess. Basically, like, there's a glare, so I'm using this to block the glare. Because I don't like doing there's glare in my videos, but the first horror movie that I think I'll talk about, that I've really enjoyed, is As Above, So Below. One of you recommended it. Can't remember the viewer that did, but you a real one. Flavored water. It's like that green apple. It basically tastes like green apple taste. Tastes like green apple taste. Green apple. Tastes like green apple. Flavoring. Anyways. So As Above, So Below. It's pretty cool. It's a horror movie where, and it's more of like a, I don't want to say it's like a suspense thriller, but it feels more like suspenseful than horrific. The situation, I will say, if you're like claustrophobic, it'd be scary. But then, like, if being underground takes place basically in like the French catacombs. The whole movie takes place in France, in Paris, I believe. And it's basically this chick who she's trying to find, I think it's the Philosopher's Stone. And basically she's been following these clues, I guess, that have been like, I guess her dad, you know, had been doing this prior to her. So she's trying to like follow in his footsteps, basically. And find this Philosopher's Stone. And they're able to get this guy who knows about the French catacombs, because they basically find a bunch of clues and work out that there's like a secret passageway in the French catacombs that no one's ever like been to. And they think that's where the Philosopher's Stone is buried or hidden or whatever. And then a bunch of like weird shit starts happening. People die. Standard horror movie stuff. And well, I don't actually know how long this video is gonna be. I thought I was way hungrier, but I'm actually getting kind of full. But so basically, that's as above, so below, without like getting into too many details. The next movie that I think I've watched, I've really enjoyed, is excuse me. I've really enjoyed the movie Smile, but when I like Smile was interesting, it was kind of creepy. The first one, I'm gonna be honest, the person I was watching it with was like, oh, the second one's better because it's with, and it's like with this pop star or whatever. And I'll agree that it's like more, I want to say it's more intriguing because I watched both of them in the same day. But Smile 1 felt freakier to me than Smile 2. Smile 2 didn't feel very freaky at all. It felt more like pop starry and whoa, like this. It's like there are some horror films where all I'm like, how do I put this? Some movies in general, but horror movies especially, some of them are just fun to look at. None of it's really that scary. None of it's particularly that interesting. But it's like really fun it's kind of fun to watch or look at, because you think like, because visually it's appealing, or the dialogue is interesting, or it doesn't have to be expressly like super interesting or awesome or whatever, but you know, it's better than like a bad movie. I just wouldn't call it a good movie, and that's how I feel about Smile 2. And Smile 1, I like how interesting it was that like she has, you know, she's kind of losing her mind. She's trying to figure out how to stop it. And then at the very end, well, if you've never seen Smile, it's about this psychiatric nurse, or this therapist. I think she's no, she's not a nurse. She's a doctor. They make a point of mentioning that in the film. She's like, I guess she's like she works at a psychiatric hospital, with, you know, like mental patients and stuff. And there's this lady that comes in and she starts doing this like rambling about like something's out to get her. Something's gonna kill her. And during that, the nurse is trying to like deduce, or not the nurse, why do I keep saying nurse? The doctor is the doctor's trying to deduce like, okay, well this seems more like what you're dealing with, like paranoid schizophrenia or whatever. And then the lady stops her rambling. Or she goes like, oh my god, you're gonna get me killed or whatever. She starts smiling at the lady. And trigger warning, I don't know if you guys are into that. I mean, I don't know if suicide bothers you. Mentions of self-harm or anything like that. But she kills herself. And like slits her throat and then falls down. And that's at that moment that the whole movie starts, because then what ends up happening is she starts seeing that woman again in her visions and stuff. She starts her visions and she starts reliving that moment in different places, and things that happen that don't really happen in her mind, or her memory is faded, and like you slowly see her start to lose her mind. Whereas in like the second film, or well, let me get done with the first one. It's like smile. So then she's like frantically trying to figure out like what's going on with her, and or she's trying to find out what's going on with herself, like whatever. And then also, by the way, her husband in the film is A-Train from The Boys, so I thought that was kind of cool. But she then basically goes on to be like, she's having all of these different problems. She tries to confide in her partner. Her partner just calls her crazy, basically. So says the movie. And then she finds a guy who dealt with it, because the smile demon that possesses these people passes from person to person. And she's trying to figure out how to break the chain. She finds this guy who's in prison for a murder. And it turns out that if you kill someone else, if you're the person with the smile demon, and you kill someone and someone witnesses you kill someone, the demon passes from you to the witness. And the reason they explain is because basically the smile demon feeds off of trauma. So anyone with a past trauma, the smile demon will like kill themselves in front of that person, or just kill themselves in front of a witness, so then that way that person has trauma, feeds off that trauma, moves on to the different person. So it kind of like, it has a subtle commentary. I'll put it this way. I like horror films that are really just metaphors. Like, it's metaphor, or it's a satirical, or it's attacking at something that I find really funny or interesting. And I say funny because of the last movie that I'm going to talk about that came out recently. So that's Smile 1. And she tries to like... Well, spoiler alert. I've been spoiling all the movies I talk about, so... She doesn't get rid of it. It passes on to the guy she likes, who also, by the way, isn't her husband. So then in the second movie, he's trying to figure, he figures it out. So he tries to kill someone. And that's how the second movie begins. He tries to kill someone in order. So, the guy that I'm talking about is a police officer. And he was kind of in the first film, he's kind of like hitting on this doctor, even though that she has a fiance. kind of like interested, but she kept like brushing him off and blah blah blah, or maybe it was like an ex-boyfriend or something. I forget exactly what it was. People can let you know in the comments if you're familiar with it. But basically what she's so when she tries to kill herself, she basically tries to starve the demon and then just kill herself without passing it to anybody. But he tracks her down and then sees her die. So then the demon passes to him. So in the second film, what happens is that he basically tracks down these like slumlords, and he's thinking, okay, if I go in there and kill one of them when someone else watches, this smile demon gets passed on to a piece of shit, and like and so he can feel like some kind of like morally vindicated in who he's passing it on to, because like he's a police officer, so like, you know, he wants to save his life, but he also wants to make sure he's not causing like excess harm. I mean, I'm trying to read too much into the film, I think, at this point. The main idea is that he's just trying to not cause like more harm by passing it on to someone innocent. These people are already slumlords, drug dealers, probably sex traffickers. You know, they're probably like pieces of shit, of dregs of society. Let's pass it to them. So he goes in there and he royally fucks it up. It's funny because he gets into the house. He holds a guy hostage, or he's like putting up a gun at a guy. And then, so he goes into the room where the other slumlord is, the brother of the guy that he is holding a gun to his head. And the guy the guy that has the gun held to his head, the slumlord, he's like, oh, you're gonna regret this. You know, I don't know why. You know, do you know who you're fucking with? Because like they're like connected up and everything. You kill me, you're gonna have a big problem on your hands. So the guy's got him like, you know, like this. But then the guy that's sat across from him will like begin to shoot. And the issue is, I think he shoots the brother that's like, he shoots, like, hit the guy that he's holding hostage, he shoots him. But then the guy, that's his brother, right? So he just saw him kill his brother, so he shoots back at the officer. So the officer returns fire at the guy sitting on the couch, because he's across from him. I'm not going to do hand motions to explain, but basically the guy the brother is sitting on the couch across from the officer who's holding the other brother hostage. And it's like, it's such a dumb situation, because if he just shot the brother, the demon would have, like the one that he was holding hostage, if he shot the person with the gun, because it's clear that he has a gun next to him, the guy he's holding doesn't have a gun on him, because he already searched him and cleared him of his guns or whatever, so he's holding that one guy hostage. Shoot the guy that's across from you so that the demon passes to the witness who you're holding, and then let him grieve, and then just run out of the house. But he kills the guy that he's holding, and then he has to kill the guy because to return fire, because he got shot in the leg or something, or got shot in the arm or whatever. And so he kills both of them. And then there's people who, well, the funny thing is that there are people who come in that did witness the murder. And then he's trying to scramble, and it's like the other slumlords or whatever, right? So the guy's trying to scramble to get out of the house, and he's like frantically trying to get out. And he makes it out of the house. Some guy starts trying to shoot at him. But I should mention, as he's trying to scramble out of the house, there's this guy who came there to buy drugs from them, because they're drug dealers, right? And so he's like, I'm not in this band, I'm just trying to, buy some drugs off him or whatever. Bro, he's like, I don't care about that. He's able to escape out of a bathroom window, make it out, only to then make it into the street and get ran over by a car. And the guy that witnessed it, because he witnessed the death, he gets the demon passed on to him, right? But then the pop star, there's the main character's like this pop star who's a former drug addict, and when I say former, she's been clean for a year in the film, and so she went to buy drugs because she was in a car accident, not the same car accident that killed the guy, but in a different car accident, and she survived it, but the guy that was driving was her ex, I think, and he died. So she's dealing from that trauma. She's recovering from that trauma. And then so while she's trying to prepare for the tour that she's trying to do, her back keeps hurting because she's only like a year out of that like really bad accident, so her body is still feeling pretty sore. But because she has a history of drug abuse, no one's gonna prescribe her any medication. So she goes back to her friend, and he ends up killing himself in front of her, which gives her the demon. And now that she has the demon, she goes through like a similar process. She's freaking out in her rehearsals. She's having like mental breakdowns. And what's fucked up about it is that all the while, her mom is the person who seems to put her on the map as a pop star. Her mom just only cares about how much she has to be ready for tours and be able to have, like, she is supposed to go to some kind of event because someone invited her to do it, and she agreed. So she has commitments, but then she's dealing with so many mental issues, but like the mom seemingly doesn't care about that. And so throughout the entire movie, she's like trying to be like, hey, I'm having these problems, and then everyone around her except for like one person is like not really helping her with it. Like, yeah, no, but you have commitments, you have people to please, and it's like, but then and that's what I found interesting, like not satire, but the message that it's sending for that. It's like, you know, she went through so many past issues and trauma, and it's like she's having mental breakdowns, and she can't, like, no one is like reaching out to lend her a hand. She has one good friend, but then she hasn't talked to that friend in years. The demon keeps messing with her and giving her a lot of visions that seem real but aren't. Whereas in the first film, you could very easily tell that it was like a vision or something happened that she was unaware of, but like there's full scenes that are complete visions in the Smile 2 film. At least two of the scenes that I'm thinking of are just completely smile delusions, whereas in the first film there's intermittent smile delusions, but it's mostly just like it's not as like fucking with her as much or whatever. I can appreciate not fucking with her as much, but I can also appreciate the cinema, like the cinematics of the film where they try and do those upside down shots. I thought it was pretty decent. So I mean, yeah, like they just did a lot of like that's kind of the film. And she finds a guy. Well, I won't get too much into it because I don't remember as much, but she finds a guy that basically knows the pattern because it happened to his brother, but he didn't believe his brother until his brother killed himself with a crowbar. And then he's been trying to track people down this entire time to warn them and tell them, like, I can help you fix it. I'm an EMT nurse. We bring you down to a very low, like, temperature. We're gonna try and basically kill you, but I can bring you back within like 9 minutes before the necrosis sits in your brain if I put your body at a certain temperature. So then that way we can bring you back to to life, and then the demon's gonna be dead, and then it doesn't pass to anyone else. So technically you die and no one witnesses. Well, technically you die. You didn't kill yourself, and no one witnessed it. So you're gonna be able to kill, like, prevent the passage of the demon. But that ends up not working. Well, what's funny is, spoiler alert, you actually find out that that entire exchange of all of that, of her trying to be her trying to get rid of the demon, that whole exchange between, like, from when she first, because she thinks she kills her mom, because her mom's like, you have obligations, and then she thinks she kills her mom out of anger, and then that entire scene for like 10 minutes, it's all a delusion. The last like 10 minutes of the film, it's all a delusion. And she's standing in front of a crowd, she's on tour, and or like, you know, she was performing her set, she has thousands of fans watching her, and then I have to say this part because I find it hysterical. She kills herself on stage, like, in front of thousands of people. So now my question for like the third film is, you know, who did it pass to? Did the smile demon, because she just traumatized thousands and thousands and thousands of fans in the end of the film. Is everyone screaming? You see the mom is mortified. Like, everyone is just like, wow, how did this happen? And so which is it? All of them? Is the smile demon being passed to all of them? And so if they make a Smile 3, I'd definitely be interested in watching it, because that, you know, it's just pretty fucking interesting, of a movie series that, like, there's this demon that passes through trauma. So, the final film I'll be talking about is called Companion, and I thought it was really good because, like, it points at a very big, like, problem in our society, but it also kind of makes it, I think it doesn't attack the issue at both ends, but it does definitely, like, it makes an interesting statement, and anyone who's seen the movie knows what I'm talking about. But Companion, basically, it starts out as this girl meets this guy. Oh, and also, funnily enough, he plays Huey, the main love interest plays Huey from The Boys. So I watched, like, within a week, I was like, oh, I watched 2 horror films that have characters from The Boys in them. Hilarious. But anyways, what happens is they meet each other, like, it's like this super romantic thing. This guy, the oranges, they're in a store, and he goes up to say hi to this girl, and then he, like, knocks the oranges down, and it's really cute, and then they end up dating each other. It's like meant to be this love story, and then cuts to, like, you know, them basically driving down to this cabin, and, you know, she's, like, really nervous because she thinks she's not gonna be, like, the friends aren't gonna like her because it's his friends, and he's like, no, just, you know, be normal, you'll be fine, like, it's all good. And then they have their moment. They have a really nice night. They dance around, they have fun. But then there's this guy, the guy's cabin that owns it. His name's Sergey, and he seems like a really sketchy guy. And so you're thinking, like, oh, this is kind of weird. He says, oh, I have my hands in many things. I'm like, I don't have just one job, you know. So you think he's doing some sketchy shit. He makes his money in, like, doing something wild. Well, they wake up the next day, and he goes by the beach, and then basically the Huey, I don't know his actual name in the movie, but he basically is a girl friend. He says, no, go by the beach, have fun. I wasn't, because he's saying, like, I'm hungover. You go down to the beach and, like, have fun and, you know, tan and soak and whatever in the sun, and I'll meet you, you know, like, you know, we'll hang out later. And up to this point, you think he's kind of a dick because it's like, okay, why is he being so dismissive towards her? Like, there's another scene that I won't really describe. It's like a sex scene, but he basically kind of like, as soon as they get done, he basically is like, go to sleep. And he says it kind of cold, and you're like, what the fuck, is this guy just like a piece of shit to this chick? Like, what is going on? Then, there's a scene where basically like Sergey has like he's being basically like really weird, and he wants the like the girl that's down there, the main love interest, to like put lotion on his back, and then he's trying to coerce her into those type of activities, right? And then she tries to defend herself, but then she ends up killing him. She runs back to the house, and then she's like, oh my god, this is crazy, like, he attacked me and everything, it's self-defense, and like trying to explain everything. He's like, calm down, and then he says, go to sleep again. And then your eyes turn white, and then you realize she's a robot. And you're like, oh, she's a robot, that's crazy. And so the whole film from then on is basically like, you realize that it was a setup because they wanted her to kill him because this guy is loaded rich, has a huge safe. The plan was that they were going to blame everything on her. They're going to reset her because basically he modded her. These robots are not meant to be able to kill humans. It's kind of like things like iRobot, like they're not programmed to hurt humans, but he modded her so that he could manually adjust like her aggression, so that way she would be willing to defend herself in that type of a situation, which would then if he reset her, they're thinking that the company that makes him would just come by and be like, oh, okay, so yeah, this is just like an accident, and then they could get away with his money, right? Well, she explains his master plan to her, and then she gets free, and then the whole movie is spent chasing her and this guy, and you realize how much of like a fucked up piece of shit this guy is. And and basically it's like, if incels get sex robots, like, it's like it's not, I don't want to call it an alternate reality. It's a future that could very well happen with like the advancement of AI and actual, like, there are big places that are trying to make robots like that. And so there's like a lot of moral and ethical issues that they address in the film that I find interesting. But then just the idea that if you're someone who can't seem to find connection with humans, and then like, or not humans, that's wife, but like if you're an incel and then you're like, oh, I'm just gonna buy a sex robot because I can't deal with a real woman, like those tendencies of like, if you're gonna be like super controlling and demanding, like, it kind of pointed out how bad some relationships can get, right? But it would still be like, it's a robot, it doesn't make any difference, it can actually be more so. And so I don't know exactly, like, I guess it's up to interpretation what the point of it was. I took from the film, don't make sex robots. Because I mean, you do end up feeling like really bad for this girl. I mean, it's like, obviously it's a real woman playing her, but this guy is being like a real shitbag to her, which is so like crazy considering he's just like, he tries to be super sweet in what's it called, in that movie, in The Boys, right? Like, he sees the simp guy for the girl or whatever for Starlight, but now in this film he's like a really abusive incel, and it's like, jeez. And I don't know, I thought it was like, I enjoyed both how hysterically, like, how funny it was, how ridiculous it was, but then also like the point that it was actually making, like the very obvious, widely glaring point of the film is that, like, this is like a reality of how some situations just are. And like, these types of people, like, whether they would date a real woman or whether they would date a robot, and even the fact that it's like, the fact that it's a robot doesn't make the behaviors okay, and they're just doing it, they would do it. And then also it brings up the issue of like, what is consciousness? if she has memories, are they, even if they're program memories, how they met was a program. He saw her get unloaded out of a box. He booted her up on his phone. And then she was obsessed with him. Like, to him, it's like, oh, this is just like, and they make a joke of it in the film. It's like a fuck bot. It's like, no. I don't like that term. But it's like, that's how you're treating her. So it's like, there are just people out there who will just treat people however they want to treat them. Wouldn't matter if they're a robot or not. And like, I don't know. You guys can let me know if you've seen that film. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know if you liked it. Also, watch it if you're interested. And if spoilers don't ruin things for you. I left a few key details out so you'd still be able to be surprised at certain things. But it got kind of like, it did get horrific. I would call it a horror film. Like, it just got like, wow, that's really rough. And you don't end up feeling bad for Yui's character at all. Like, you feel, I don't feel bad. It's like, damn, bro, if you really were that big of a piece of shit, on one hand, it sucks that you did it to someone who, they feel like they have consciousness. But then on the other hand, it's like, you probably shouldn't date a real woman. Because look at how big of a piece of shit you are. Like, you shouldn't be able to, you know what I mean? So, I thought it was interesting. But those were the films that I've watched recently, the horror films. Leave your horror film suggestions in the comments below. Or any movie suggestions, and I may check them out if I think it'd be something that I want to watch. Be advised, I do like sci-fi, thriller, horror, action movies. Don't recommend it unless it's a good comedy. I'm not really that interested. At the moment, I'm not interested in romance movies, but I'll definitely probably dip my toes in that further down the line, because I've never dipped my toes into romance films. Rom-coms maybe, but like, I don't know, like, I haven't actually like watched real romance stuff. I like romance anime, like the movies. There's some romance movie animes I've watched, so I want to broaden my horizons a bit and watch things that aren't just Marvel and sci-fi and horror. But that's what I'm currently into, so just let me know. I want to watch the Captain America movie, and I'll see what, and I kind of want to watch that and give an opinion on it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you had a really great, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had a really good night. And I will catch you guys in the next video. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.